She told her son I abandoned him. Then he showed up at my door with a shoebox that exposed everything. I never thought a child I didn't legally belong to would expose the biggest lie in my relationship. 6 months after I moved out, 8-year-old Mason showed up at my apartment carrying a shoebox and asked, "Why did mom say you don't want me anymore?" I almost dropped the box. For 4 years, I had been packing his lunches, sitting through parent-teacher meetings, and staying up late when nightmares woke him. His biological father had moved overseas before Mason could remember his face, and I had never tried to replace him. I just loved the kid. When I started dating Claire, she said she wanted to take things slowly because her last relationship had ended badly. I respected that, even when 3 years passed and every conversation about marriage became a conversation about waiting. Then one Saturday morning, I found a receipt in Claire's car from an expensive hotel across town. She said she had gone there for a work meeting. I believed her until Mason mentioned that she had taken him there the previous Thursday to meet Uncle Ryan. Claire had never told me Ryan was back in town. That night I asked her about it, and she became defensive so quickly that my stomach tightened. She said Ryan was an old family friend and nothing more. I let it go because I didn't want another fight. 2 weeks later, I came home early and heard Claire talking on the phone in the bedroom. She didn't know I was outside the door. "I just need him to stay patient a little longer," she said. A man asked something I couldn't hear. Claire laughed softly. "Once the house is in my name, I can finally stop pretending." My blood went cold. The man asked about me. Claire said, "He's completely invested. He'll never suspect I'm preparing everything." I walked away and spent the night checking our finances. That's when I found transfers from our joint savings account to an account I didn't recognize. The next morning, I confronted her. She cried immediately, but not because she was sorry. She said she had planned to explain everything after we bought the house. I asked who Ryan was. She finally admitted they had been seeing each other for almost a year. Then came the part that hurt most. She had been keeping me close because my income helped qualify for the mortgage, and once the property was transferred into her name, she intended to leave with Ryan. I ended the relationship that day and moved out before she could touch another dollar. What I didn't expect was for her to cut me out of Mason's life too. She told him I had chosen to leave and that I didn't want to be his family anymore. I begged her to let me explain, but she refused. For 6 months, I heard nothing. Then Mason showed up at my apartment with that shoebox. Inside were photographs, birthday cards, and every drawing he had ever made for me. He said Claire told him I had abandoned him because I was angry about money. I asked who told her that story. He looked confused and said, "Ryan did." Mason pulled out a folded piece of paper. It was a note Claire had written months earlier. Once the house closes, he'll be gone, and Mason will finally have a real father figure. But there was one detail Claire had forgotten. She had signed the note with her full name. Mason looked at me and whispered, "You didn't leave me, did you?" I shook my head and pulled him into a hug. Never. 3 days later, Mason's grandmother called me. She had found the same financial transfers while helping Claire with her taxes and contacted a lawyer. Claire had lied about more than the affair. She had been moving money from several accounts and planning to claim I had abandoned the relationship voluntarily. The house purchase was stopped before closing, and the bank froze the remaining joint funds. But none of that mattered when Mason finally told his grandmother, "Mommy made me hate him because she was scared he would tell the truth." Claire spent months trying to make me look like the villain, but the child she thought she was protecting was the one who finally saw through her.